All right, welcome, yo. One of our first of many to come album reviews. We haven't done this in a while, a video review, but this week we're doing T.I.'s "Kill the King." Recently released, I believe, what day was this? On June 26th of 2026, coming in at 18 songs, 51 minutes. This is said to be maybe, possibly, he has hinted at this being the last major project he might have before retirement, or maybe in a while. I know we hear rappers throw retirement out there, but we definitely are here to check that out and give our opinion on it. Here with the one and only Mr. ObieTriceKenobi. We're going to give our thoughts. How you doing today, Obi?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be talking about this album. I got a lot of thoughts, so I've been waiting. I've been ready and excited for this video review for us to talk about it. So
Hey, definitely excited to talk about this, particularly as a fan of Ti myself. I kind of grew up on the music, so definitely
yep,
look forward to this release and kind of a resurgence. We know we took a little time off to do comedy and all other side missions, and getting
yeah,
back to the music is definitely what we've been waiting for. So I'll just hop right into the review. The first thing we got are King's Thoughts, which is the intro track. Ti and his daughter Eris Harris. To me, this was just the standard intro. So I rank this as just to know we got three rankings. We're gonna go for these songs. Skip, AIGHT, and a banger, right? It's kind of a simplified way we're gonna do it. So the King's Thoughts, the first standard intro track. I think it was nice that he showcased, the daughter's talent. But it's just like 40 seconds of her singing, introducing it. Standard intro, it was AIGHT. Like I said, I love the family dynamic he kind of goes throughout in places throughout this release. But what are your thoughts on the intro?
yep. No, I'm. excuse me. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that if it was anybody but his daughter, this would be a skip for me every time, and I would just skip past the 45 seconds, even though it's short. I don't really
Right.
have a need to like. It's not something that's catching me particularly, but because it's his daughter, it gives a little bit of that extra special, splash to it, and I respect that enough that I'll listen to that. That's not a problem. So that same with me. I'm giving that an all right. It's hard to give it too much of a banger, but it's short enough that it's not a skip either immediately. So I'll take
Yeah,
that.
big facts, big facts. So you want to introduce the second song?
Yes, sir. I gotcha. All right. Here. You know what? Sorry. Let me get this since we're editing. Okay. All right. For the second song on the album, we got "See What I'm Saying" featuring Young Dro. Personally, this was just all right. It wasn't really blowing me away as off the top early. Now, compared to some songs deeper in the album, this is not bad, so that's why it's got an all right for me. But
Mm,
it was a little bit of a slow start between the intro into this, which was fine. I don't mind a slow start, but it's not a song I have a big urge to like return to particularly. But I'm also not skipping past it either. Hence why it's not a skip for me.
gotcha. Actually, I echo many of your sentiments on that. I think I gave it an eye. I think it was average beat, nothing special. Kind of somber. I think the highlight of this to me was Dro's appearance on here. If you kind of listen to the track, he's like singing in between on the ad libs,
yeah.
so it had me rolling, man. I ain't gonna lie. Dro elevated this, and I've always kind of admired. I wish he had more releases. I know he went through some things himself, which kind of hindered him releasing a lot of music in between addiction and all these things he's already talked about. But I think this is kind of like a case where it's like if it was just Ti by himself, I'd probably be skipped, But I think
Yeah.
Dro just does enough for it to be entertaining to me. Otherwise, it'd be kind of boring without Dro on this one. But I mean, it's a standard fare, standard kind of filler song. Any other thoughts you
Yeah.
got?
No, I totally agree with all that. I think that Dro elevated it for sure, but at the same time, it was just all right. If anything, Young Dro had a pretty good album last year that I really like. So I'm always looking to see what he'll bring. And this album, he brought some stuff we'll talk about, but for this song, eh,
Cool. So we got I both agree with I. Don't see what I'm saying.
yeah,
Let them know, which is the big radio hit. I think that was the lead single coming into
yes
this, of
sir.
course, with Pharrell, I believe, on the production. Um, I mean, it's a good song. I consider it a banger. Granted, it feels kind of dated because they released it so long ago, and I've heard so many snippets of it, and it's been on like the NBA playoffs intro and things of that nature. So I think when it was first released, I definitely was feeling it. I'm a little bit tired of it at this point, but I can't deny that it's a pretty good song. You got some of the best as far as production. It's a very up-tempo, good beat, good cookout song, good club song. I'm sure it's getting played in rotations in Atlanta. So, I mean, that's a pretty easy one for me. So I'm going banger on that. What are your thoughts on Let Them Know?
Yeah, no, same for me. Right from the beginning, right from its release, I was pretty much in love with it. Was like, oh wow, we talked about it on the podcast. It's felt like T.I.'s back. He's teamed up with Pharrell. I think at the time he had just cut his hair, so we were getting excited about things for that. Now I agree with you. First of all, I'll say it's a banger. I definitely agree, absolute banger. But I also agree that too much time has passed. Like since it dropped in, what was that, January or February or something like that. Like the album should have released then. We shouldn't have dropped the single so early if the album wasn't ready. There shouldn't have been a 6 more month wait for the album to come out. And kind of have, some other singles have dropped with varying success. We'll talk about some others for sure, but yeah, it's a great song, but like you said, it's now this could have been, to say it like this, it's like this feels like this could have been a song of the summer if he'd have released it at the right time. Something I've been looking for. I'm not listening to Young Miami Spend That. I think this is a song that could have overtaken that and been popping off all summer, but it got released 4 months too early. So it's a great song, banger. I wish there was almost, more of this. I get that too much, you'd get repetitive, but I wish there was more of this on this album. But yeah, absolutely released too early. And at this point, I'm, more or less wore it out, kind of. So it is what it is on that front.
Definitely that. I can agree more. I think we're on the same page, brother. What's the next one?
Yeah. All right. Next song we got is Where I'm From, featuring Anderson .Paak and Stallone. This song is where some of my big issues kind of start up personally with this album. I don't know how everybody feels about that. I am an Anderson .Paak fan, so I like what he does. I like what he brings, but like this beat is not for me. This is super mainstream and feels very reminiscent of my least favorite T.I. era. Paper Trail, Paperwork, No Mercy, all that kind of stuff. Feels very mainstream, aim for the radio, aiming for a hit, something like that. And it's not the worst song on the album, but it's in the lower half for me for sure. Ooh. So I'm actually giving this one a skip. I feel like other people are going to like it more, and I totally understand it. But yeah, that's a skip for me.
Yeah, I feel you on that. This is probably our first disagreement on that. And I will say this is one of those songs I had to play on the car stereo for me to get where he was going with this. I felt like you initially about the hit chasing thing, and we can talk more about that a little bit later. But this is one of those I was like, but then I went and did a little cruising, and the 12s popped on, and this shit was it felt different, It elevated to the point where I can almost say it's borderline banger for me. I say slightly, just from the car play. I wish you had somewhere in between banger and AIGHT, but I'll lean towards banger just because it's like, man, this thing with some 12s, dog. And I had to play about 3-4 times for it to grow on me. But I'm like, okay, I see where he was going with this. It's not so commercial that it's, Anderson .Paak is so talented to me.
Yeah.
That it just elevated it enough. And it's one of the few times where actually the car test actually made me change my opinion. Normally the car test confirms what I feel.
Sure,
the car test changed it on this one to me. So I'm going to lean banger. Slightly above AIGHT, but
no, that's fair. That's fair. I had a feeling it was one that I would be more on an island with in general. Like if we get a consensus from people, I bet you they like that song or that they'll enjoy it more or less. I think it's just for me that if maybe, and I really wish if I would love to hear it with a different beat. because I really think that that
Mm,
beat for me is just like I'm having trouble getting over that hump right there. So
that's understandable. Definitely understandable. Next one is Rant. Um, for this one, I put all right. We kind of get some of that tip on this song to me. This is one of the first songs that kind of
yep.
sound like TIP, you know. So I feel like he was kind of addressing, the haters and some of the wrongs on this song. Granted, it was kind of a standard filler song. The beat was all right. Lyrics was nothing too crazy. There's nothing super memorable about this, but every album kind of needs these type of songs where you kind of just got to fill in the spaces with something palatable, right? So this kind of felt that to me is that it was just like, okay, I'm a rap some, I'm gonna give them a little bit of that tip. You feel me? Pause and and just kind of feed the streets with this one. That's kind of how it felt to me. So it was all right, nothing special. What about you?
Yeah, no, I felt similarly. It's like you said, you get that TIP feeling. Pause. I still, even though I spelled it, still feel like I gotta do it. But that's crazy. But yeah, that beat just kind of was underwhelming. It was like it was right in that vein of what I wanted, but just wasn't quite hitting the marks that I needed for it to be a banger. So I have it
Mhm.
as an all right for me for sure. And yeah, I totally agree with you. It's like right on that line. And if it had been cranked up just a little bit more, whether that was the production or Ti's delivery or something like that, I'm not 100% sure. But it just needed an extra spark there to really get it over that edge. But it was in the lane of stuff that I liked. Like I had said for an Anderson Paak song, if I'm putting it in the lower percentage or the upper percentage, this is in the upper 50%. So I'll take it. That's all right for me.
Definitely agreed. Yeah. Next one. What we
So,
got, man?
yep. So as we go on to the next song, we got Mr. Him. All right. This is a song that I know some people are divisive on. I think this was a single, to be honest. That when I was looking to get my video review ready, I saw that it had a video come out like 3 weeks ago. So it's a song that's been out and made zero waves, made zero splash. I haven't heard a single thing from anybody about it. Didn't even know it was out until the album was out. Okay, so all that said, I think it's all right.
Okay.
Okay, there's some elements of it that are very hit and miss for sure, and I'm still trying to figure out if I like it because it's a decent song or if I like it because the songs surrounding it are terrible. I'm not 100% sure. I'm still trying to work on that as we'll
Yeah,
get
it's a
into.
rough stretch. It's a
Yeah,
rough.
there's some rough songs here that we'll get into. Some other good stuff too, but there's some rough stuff and it all gets into a blurred line a little bit. So I said it was all right. It was kind of on that line of like, yeah, I don't even want to say it's on the line of a banger because it's not quite there, but it's tolerable. And that's and that's acceptable compared to some of these other tracks. So
I
what
got
do you
you.
think?
I got you, Mr. Him. I'm going skip, man.
Fair, fair.
That falls into the hit chaser, and this is one of those songs where I guarantee if you're in a social setting, you're in a club, and the bass and the 808 is hitting, and it's some fine females singing some of the lyrics to it. It probably sounds all right, right? But if I'm just like in the car riding, if I'm just on some solo tip, I kind of don't want to hear this shit. It's a little bit too commercial for me. You
Sure.
feel me? I get what he was trying to do. It's almost like that old school, like, all right, I'm a club song, lady song. Like with the older artists, I feel like they still follow it. The younger artists, I think they don't give
Yeah,
a
yeah,
fuck. They just make what they want to make. I think
yeah,
the older artists still have this like formula in his head, and you can almost see
yeah,
it in the tracks. Like, all right, here goes my club song, here goes my stripper song,
yeah.
yeah, this cookout. And I feel like this falls in that vein of him trying to follow that old school kind of thing where I'm gonna make this Mr. Him song so I can, turn up the clubs in Atlanta. So for me, it's a skip. I can see if people put all right for it, depending on where you're at, how you feeling, the memories that go along with it. If you're somewhere lit and this turns on, I can see how you might like it. But for me, I'm leaning skip. It's not something that's like terrible, like oh my god. But yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not playing
yeah.
that
Yeah,
shit.
I think for me that beat just happens to hit a sweet spot of like being solid enough that I'm like, yeah, let that play, right? Where yeah. But either way, not impressed if I'm being perfectly honest.
Agreed. I think it's on me now. How It Went by the T.I. featuring The Dream. This is another one that the car test had to save it for me. The car test had to save it for me. I'm sure you're probably gonna disagree with me on this one, but it went from like between skip and all right to slight banger for me, bro. Very slight. Just simply due to the whip test. This is one of those songs I guarantee if you maybe had like a little buzz going and you're cruising and the lights is out and the city is looking nice in the summer, it sounds good. This is one of those songs too. The bass kind of saves it. So to me, it just links slightly to banger. Like I said, prior to this car testing me bending some blocks, I probably would have been leaning towards maybe skip, but it drastically changed it for me. I am not gonna lie. I'm gonna go slight banger on How It Went, and what you think about that joint?
Yeah, so this is one that, I've listened to this album across headphones and cars. I've probably listened almost too many times trying to prepare for this review and trying to just get my thoughts all together on it, right? This is one of the few songs that grew on me like that. That started off like you said, I was kind of more on the skip end, maybe all right initially. Like there was just something about it that I was just kind of like wishy-washy on, right?
Right.
In the last couple of days, I've switched on that, and I'm leaning towards slight banger. I don't think that the dream is needed on it, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like I'm not saying like he's not bad, but he also isn't like adding so much that I'm like, man, thank God the dream was on this. But at the same time, like I just agree with everything you said. Yeah, that the beat and the hook could be a little better, but it's hitting that stuff for me, and it's a slight banger, and I'll take it. Yeah, for sure. Towards the top of the list, top 5 song in that on the album, I would say in the top 5.
Damn. Okay. I feel you on that, dog. We clicking, man. I feel
Yeah,
you.
yeah. All right, next one we got is that's gonna be a tricky one I'm very interested to hear people's opinion on. Dope Boys Academy featuring T-Pain, Jeezy, and 2 Chainz. All right, now this is a song, like I said on the last one, I was mixed on some parts, but it's a banger. This one I mixed on some parts, and it's a skipper. I'm skipping this one. All right, like that beat and that T-Pain hook, it did the opposite of grow on me. It fell on me. You know what I mean? Like that fell off on me hard. I was not. The more I heard it, it's like I get it, and I'm not saying that there's no catchiness there. It's not like, it doesn't give me a headache to listen to, but it's clearly playing into like a super nostalgia sound and collaboration, and it just isn't working for me personally. So it's not the worst song on the album, but it's a skip. I don't need to hear that song anymore personally.
Hey man, I agree with you, dog. And I say that as a Jeezy and a Chains fan, bro.
Yeah,
This to me felt I gave it an all right, first and foremost. I gave it an I, and I simply gave it an I for Jeezy's verse. Jeezy fucking floated on this bitch to me.
sure.
But outside of that, bro, if not for that, it would have been a skip for me as well. I think it relies too heavily on nostalgia. With that beat that sounds like a DJ Khaled 2009 throwaway.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing if you can take that and flip it and elevate it and make it sound modern, but this to me just felt like nostalgia for the sake of nostalgia.
Yeah.
And I just can't fuck with that. So it's nothing I'm gonna super duper skip. I mean, it probably depends on my mood of that day. I might skip it or not skip it. But like I said, just because of Jeezy's verse, I'm gonna go all right. But I agree with everything you said, dog. I agree with everything you said.
It's one of the few that's on the line for me of skipping all right, whereas most are I'm pretty solid on what they are, or that's more on the line of banger and all right. This one's kind of on that line of skipping all right, but I lean towards skip because it just hits it starts off my least favorite section of the album, to say the least.
Agreed. So I think we're on the same page with Dope Boys Academy. Next we have Pistol on the Dance Floor. This to me is a skip. The lyrics are hilariously bad. Like these are some ABC. The T.I. I understand the type of song it is. This is the club song. This is the for the ladies fusion with club song. So I get what he was trying to do, But and it's probably one of those songs that sounds better if you got a pretty female and she's dancing to this right in front of you. But this song is not good. It gives me the great value. Why you wanna vibes, why you wanna, like you try to recreate hits of the past, and this
Yeah.
obviously felt like one of those songs to me. So it's a skip. What about you?
Oh yeah, this is a super skip. Like you said, it's like I get the idea, but it's just not executed well. Um and by get the idea, I mean like the theme I get, like okay, cool, and the vibe, like I get all of it. It just doesn't work. I don't know how this song made the cut. Like yeah, it's just that's a that's a big skip for me, and potentially I don't know if I'd say the biggest skip because there's some other ones that I'd rather skip, but as far as like songs that had more potential for me, like you could have spun this into something better, I feel like, right? But no,
Yeah.
skip. That was a rough one. I'm not gonna lie, one of the rougher ones. Jeez.
Agreed.
um. All right, so the next song we're talking about is "And Won't" featuring Summer Walker. All right, and so this kind of continues just that, and this is why I said this is my least favorite section of the album, is that it just gets very mainstream sounding, very radio
Mm,
sounding.
mm.
We got a Summer Walker feature here, which is fine. Not that that's bad, but I'm just saying, like, you could tell he's reaching for a sound and a vibe that just is being reached for. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't really feel like this is. There's nothing about that song that feels that natural to me, and it's just like a mainstream. No, that's a skip. I don't even have too much more to say. This is, like I said, we're in the murkiest part of the album that I'm just like, I can't stand this part. We're skipping through all this shit.
Yeah, man. You know what? I gave it an all right. I gave it an all right, just for the simple fact that if you listen to the JID album or whatever, I feel like he was trying to do the Atlanta skating rink music. I feel like this is more regional, a regional song for that specific demographic, right? He's trying to get the plays and the skating rinks. If you know, Atlanta still is one of the places where they still have a major skating rink culture. So this
Yeah.
to me felt exactly like that. Like, all right, I know what you're trying to do. It's not the worst song, like you said, very commercial. I know what you're trying to do. This is that stretch. This
Right.
is that
Yeah.
stretch, right? But I just gave it all right, just for the simple fact that I can see if I was a native Atlantean and I'm skating around. This fits that vibe. Like I said, I probably in between actually skipping all right, but I definitely echo your sentiments on this. This is that stretch. Speaking of which, going into Gorgeous by Ti, featuring Usher. Um, this is that three song where he's just the most commercial part of the album to me. And
Yeah.
I don't know who curated the track list. It probably been better if you spaced this shit out. Give me a break.
Yeah.
But this is a skip for me. It didn't fit the overall vibe of the album. This is Kill the King. We supposed to be getting trap music on an extraordinary level, and I felt
Yeah.
like this was way too R&B. And then it was also to have a superstar like Usher and a star like T.I. This felt like a below average R&B collaboration. I think more could have been done with it. And we just didn't need to put all these For the Ladies commercial tracks together either. By this point, I'm tired of this shit now. You went back to back to back. So, like you
Yeah.
said, this is the roughest stretch of the album for me, but this particular song is a skip. What you think?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, and all totally fair. I totally agree with everything. That's a skip for me. Again, we're on this commercial mainstream run. Like you said, all these like dancey girl type of songs, nothing to break it up. There's and the frustrating part is there's other good songs here. There's other good content. It's like, but somebody just let that part run. But for me, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna skip through that every time. I might as well cut that shit all out of the album. Like, now, the one thing I will say is that this is where we'll differ. I like this song. I like Gorgeous a splash more than And Won't with Summer Walker. I'm still on a skip for it, but that's the one I'm a little more on the line of the skip and the all right. Whereas And Won't, I'm kind of like, that's just more of a skip for me personally. So this one hits a little bit higher of a level, but still a skip. And it it's a shame because maybe if these tracks had been sequenced differently, it would feel different, right?
Yep,
Like I
yep.
kind of like Gorgeous. Maybe if it had been squished in between two other songs, I'd be more into it. But when you run it with all these other ones and that, it's like I'm already tired of it. So even if I can deal with it, now again, I'm just like tolerating this stuff at a certain point when it's like I could be enjoying it, but you kind of beat me over the head with the sound and this vibe. So yeah, no, that's a skip from me.
Definitely agreed.
Um,
What else you got?
yep. So I get it up here. All right. So the next song we got is "We On." All right. This is a back to a solo song, solo Ti song. This is a slight bit more back on that TIP kind of time. This one I gave an all right. We're getting out of the skip zone, thankfully. All right. This one is kind of like it's kind of similar to how I feel about Rant and Mr. Him, where it's kind of it's good, but there's just not those right sparks that are igniting to kick it up a notch. But it's on that level of like, okay, like I like this, and if the album had just more of this type of quality across it, then I would be more into the album. So
Facts. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I probably liked it a little bit more than Rant. So I leaned slightly banger
okay,
for We On. I just love that beat. And like I said, once I got it in the whip, it elevated it a little bit more for me. Or maybe I was just coming off that strain of those back to back for the
yeah,
ladies
right.
commercial
That's what I'm saying. It's like
that
you're
this
just
woke
like
me back up.
thankful to get a breath in of something that's like decent quality at least. Like, yeah, I
Yeah,
totally
it's like
feel
if
you.
you fucking eat sandwiches for a week and then you get like a fucking like a turkey leg, and it's like, oh my god, this is the best shit I ever tasted, right? So,
Yeah.
but
This Denny
yeah,
steak is amazing.
it just kind of felt like that, right? So to me, I did lean towards banger. You know, it was a good track, and this is more like you said. I want to see that TIP. This is more of that.
Yeah.
All right, we back on this trap music shit. You feel me? And like I said, it probably can lean towards an album filler, but I think the beat just elevated. I was feeling it enough head nodding for me to
Yeah.
be like, okay, I fucks with this.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying is like, yeah, as an out like I don't even want to call it an album filler, but let's put it in that category. Like I'm totally cool with that. I'm
Mhm.
good with We On's on the album and we get like peaks and valleys. And if We On is the lowest valley, I'd be happy with that. Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, hell
Super
yeah.
happy. So I probably personally would rank it. I'm kind of right back and forth. I think I'm going Mr. Him, We On, Rant with Mr. Him being the top song out of those three. But I totally understand not not feeling that same way. So
Yeah,
all right,
definitely.
this is a song we're gonna have to edit this part out. How do you pronounce this fucking song, dude?
Long live OG Clay. So LLOG.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like a
okay.
tribute
I'm
song.
all I keep I just keep trying to read it like a fucking idiot. Okay, I got you.
Yes,
My
sir.
brain, I've made multiple dumbass shit
Oh, I
mistakes
had to
like
think
that
about it
today.
for a while. It wasn't until I heard the song and I was like, oh, okay. I get it.
No, yeah, I should just be paying. I think I zone out too much during the young boy part a little bit. Anyway, all right, all right. So for the next song we're talking about, we got LLOG Clay. All right, long live OG Clay. This is a song featuring NBA young boy. And it's solid. I like the beat to this song. I'm not really a young boy fan like that, to be honest, but I thought that he was like tolerable on this. Um, I'd probably put it in all right. I'm kind of right on that edge of all right and skip, if I'm being honest with you, especially because, like I said, I'm not really a young boy fan, but this is a verse and a feature that I can get through for sure. I just wasn't like blown away by it. I felt like I want it to be strong. Like the beat makes me want it to be a banger because I actually do like that beat quite a bit, but just the lyrical content and the hooks and some of the stuff in the song has got me just sitting on all right with it. But I'm cool with that. How about you?
I agree. I agree. It was all right to me. I love the beat. Kind of that somber. It would have been good to break up the monotony. Like if he had space, maybe some of those commercial things and maybe space this in between it or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, I did like that. I'm not a fan of NBA young boy. You feel me? Although he did, I think, better on this track. There's something I could fuck with a little bit more. He does seem to kind of
Yeah.
change it up a little bit when he is with like real spitters and shit like that. So it wasn't nothing that was
Mhm.
like super bad. Like he had some shit that was on that Kevin Gates album. I was like, what the fuck is this? But this was
Oh yeah.
this was better. I liked the beat. It's a tribute record, so I didn't expect it to be too high or too low, you know, as far as
Yeah.
that's concerned. So to me, it was just all right. You feel me? Um, I'm not gonna call it quite an album. It kind of felt that way to me. A little bit more of those fillers, one of those middling songs that you need to fill out an album. But you know, I'm cool with that. Like you said, I'm cool with that. So
Yeah.
next we got Ego by T.I. featuring the OMG Girls. I went all right with this. It almost felt like an interlude, man. It's short. It's kind of boring.
Yeah. Super short.
Super short, kind of boring. I just felt like there may be something because it does feel like he's trying to space his family. I'm not mad at that. Put his family on the album and showcase and their talent and stuff like that. So to me, this definitely was a like I said, borderline interlude for me. So it's all right. Nothing to write home about. What you think?
Fair enough. Yeah. No, I listed it as skip, but it's on that borderline for me. It's not like it's not on the level of and won't or gorgeous pistol on the dance floor or any of those songs. It's not like that, and it's only a minute, so it's short. I could tolerate it for sure. But if I had the choice between skipping it, like removing it off the album and keeping it, like I probably would have. I think I'd have removed it, but you
Yeah.
know. So I'm marking it as skip, but I could be easily talked into an all right, and I'd be like, all right, that's fine, keep it on there. But as long as it stays short, that
I
don't
got
extend it.
I got you. What else you got,
Uh,
Obi?
All right, yep. So the next song we're talking about is Trauma Bond. All right, this is one of the lead singles, the second one, if I'm not mistaken. This is a song that I liked initially. I liked it for sure. And then it's grown on me since then. All right. So kind of the opposite to a slight degree of Let 'Em Know, where that one was like it peaked real high, real high, and slowly has kind of dipped down just bit by bit, right? Well, Trauma
Right.
Bond was kind of more like released and I was a little middling on it. I think I even did a reaction to it where I was like, oh, that's cool. Wasn't blowing me away like the other song, but by the time that I finished this album, Trauma Bond is one of the top 3 songs on the album for me for sure. Now, part of that could be because there's a lot of stuff that's not that good on this album, right? And so that elevates and does boost up stuff that is already good. But I think it's a song that's just grown on me in general. That beat has been growing on me more with the marching band. And I like that it's a solo song. He doesn't have any features on it. It's not. So yeah, that's a banger for me, for sure.
Sure. I agree. I don't know. I kind of lean towards liking the marching band songs. I don't know what it is, man.
Yeah.
But I
No,
kind of
me
like
too.
sometimes that aesthetic. So to me, it's easy banger, one of the top 3. I would say the number 1 song on the album for me. And I think the video too elevates it to another level for me. The way he
Yeah.
incorporates the band, Atlanta, his family. So on
Yep.
top of
Yep.
having an already good song, now you're adding these different elements to it. So to me, and that's why I always say to a lot of artists, man, if you have a good song, man, take an iPhone and shoot a damn video for it because that elevates it. And to me, this definitely is one of those situations. So a song that's already good, now we're adding some good elements to it, some very family elements to it. So to me, it's an easy banger. I ain't even gonna beat a dead horse on this one. Like I said, one of the best songs, if not the best song on the album for me.
Yep. Nope. I agree. I think they're initially I'm sure but the beat kind of changes a little bit, right? And there are moments when it changes that I before was just a little bit like, oh, I don't love when it changes. I love when it's just hitting. But like I
Mm,
said, all that stuff is growing on me. Even the hook, I had moments of being mixed on. That's grown on me. So yeah, Trauma Bond's a great song for sure. One of the top tracks on the album.
definitely. Next one represent a time. Ti, Sweater, and Young Dro. This one I got all right. Decent, smooth track. Anytime I can get more Young Dro spitting on the track, I'm always for that. So this is another time where I might lean the other way, but like I said, man, when Dro's on the track, it elevates. But this is to me, it's all right. This is another one of those songs where it's all right. It's a filler song. I like the fact that they kind of, this was like more of the good nostalgia where I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the time or how I think or how my mentality is. I didn't fuck with you. We don't fuck with snitches and all this. So I think this is an example of like showing that good nostalgia as opposed to that other stuff. So for me, I got it all right. I could lean it's in between banger and all right, but I give it all right. What you got, man?
Okay, cool. No, I agree with you on especially that the nostalgia of it is so much better than Dope Boys Anthem, Dope Boys Academy. Sorry,
Right.
but yeah, the nostalgia of this song is much better. Personally, I was a little bit leaning more like Skip and All Right on it, to be fair. And it's because in my notes I said just really it's fallen in line with some of the more mainstream sounds in the album that I don't like, just as far as kind of like the sound of it. I'm not saying that it's hitting those peaks of mainstream like Gorgeous does in those songs. It's like a song that if there wasn't all the other stuff, it would be like, oh, that's like this song, but I like it. Instead, it's almost getting washed out with the other junk, if that makes sense in my brain. Like it's in a really bad stretch of songs here for me. And so it's not like standing out enough that I can lean into banger with it. So I'm going with All Right because I like you said, I like how they're talking about nostalgic stuff, the way they're talking about it. And I like having Young Dro on it again, but I'm also not quite on that banger level for it. So
fair enough. Definitely.
All right. The next song we're talking about is Big Dog featuring Buddy Red, Billy Lennox, and EJ Jones. This song gets into kind of like I don't know how you describe it, maybe more like a rock. It's got a little bit more of a rock type of a beat to a slight degree, which I personally can't stand more or less all of the time. Like I don't not really into rock in my hip hop.
Right.
Just like kind of period. I'm not into rock as much in general, rock and roll, like depending on the styles of it. So yeah, this song definitely just was not for me. That's a skip, unfortunately. I understood the sound, I understood the style, I understood what T.I. was going for. It's just not a song that's for me, and I don't know if it ever would have been for me. I think if he's trying to stick to that sound that he's going for on Big Dog, that's totally cool. It just may not be for me.
Yeah,
so that's a skip.
Yeah, I'm with you on all of that. I did put All Right. It's not my style whatsoever, but I can appreciate trying something different. I can also appreciate him because Buddy Red is his son. If people don't know, he's trying to highlight his son who's into the rock shit. You feel me? Very talented artist. So this is kind of like the play of maybe trying to blend their styles.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, and I did not know that was his son. So yeah. I appreciate that he's just putting his family on display, although not all of his family, as we've somewhat talked about and seen, but I appreciate that.
Know who we're talking
about. But some musical family members, but whatever.
Yeah, but I can appreciate that part of it. Like I said, Buddy Red's pretty. EJ Jones too, young dude. Very talented. I think he got bang of the week for that other track he had before. So this is kind of like I'm showcasing my son. I'm showcasing this other talented Atlanta artist. So I get what I can appreciate that. Why it's not my style of song. I can appreciate you trying something else. If there wasn't those elements involved in it, and maybe that shouldn't involve in the song, but I'm a human, man. I can appreciate him putting his son up. So I give it all right just because of that. I think that was actually pretty dope, man. It's good to see artists that actually are connected with their family and showcase them and stuff like that. So I think just for that purposes, I gave it all right. But yeah, I wasn't feeling the rock collaboration.
Yeah. And especially you got to understand also in my brain, a lot of it's like, this is now like as he announced right before the album release, it's like, this is T.I.'s last album, right? Quote unquote. So it's like, you're hitting us with a lot of stuff that's like, whether it's experimental or it's mainstream, just a lot of sounds that aren't meshing well with my brain, which might be fine if it was just another album. But especially when you're telling me this is my last album, you love me as an artist. I'm about to retire. Here, take this last musical piece, and it's just like some of these songs. I'm just like, man, what are we doing? Or like, what's going on? Or what's like some of these could have been on a mixtape, or like you should
Yeah.
have dropped these as some singles leading up to it. See if anybody liked them. Some of these like mainstream girl songs. And if they didn't, cut them out. Instead of your huge hit dropping 4 months earlier. And
Yeah.
it's just like, whatever. He's rich. I'm not. What the fuck do I know? You know what I mean? So
I feel you, man. Let's get to the last song of the album, which is Continental. Um, I put banger for this one. I think it was for outro song. I think it's pretty good. The beat to me, this is another one of those songs where the beat is carrying it. It's a standard trap song. It's nothing special. If you ever heard any Ti song, this pretty much falls in vein of that. But the 12s was rocking when this was on, so I slightly leaned a little bit better than so I gave it, like I said, on the fringes of banger for me. Or maybe just coming off Big Dog, it feels like I said, if you have like a track and then you come with something like, and honestly, this is like one of the songs that if like we had between Continental, Trauma Bond, Rant, you know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that, right? I think if we had more of that, you cut this down to 13, 14 songs and cut out some of that filler shit, just gave us some good trap music. I think he might have had a borderline classic on his hands, right?
yep.
But yeah, he had too much filler in there. But Continental to me is I'm a lean banger. What's your thoughts on the outro track?
Yeah, I mean, I love that song personally. That's for sure a banger. It's one of my favorite songs on the album. It's in the top 3 with Trauma Bond and Let 'Em Know. And at certain moments, I wonder if it's number 1 for me. It might surprise you, but it's also the newest song, right? So it's the one I haven't heard the most because Trauma Bond and Let 'Em Know obviously been out for a while.
Right.
And also comes at the end of the worst streak possible. Like, there's probably like, what did I just list? 6 skips in a row or something like that, I said. So it comes at the very end of that and feels like a great breath of fresh air compared to some of the other stuff that was happening in the album before then. So yeah, for me, it's definitely a banger. I wish that, like you said, you take that, you take China Bond, you take Let 'Em Know, you take We On, Rant, you get a couple more of those, maybe even 2 or 3 more that you didn't that aren't here. You cut out some of the other stuff, and you'd have a top 5 Ti album. I think you might have potential for something like that. But
I agree. So final score, man. We're gonna give our number equivalent. If you keep up with us on the site, we do the 1 through 10. My personal thoughts, man. I'm going 7 out of 10 for this album. I actually had it probably closer to 6 before the card test, before listening to it 3-4 more times. It actually is one of those albums that got a little bit better for me as I listen to it more, which is a good thing, right? It may get higher if I listen to it more. Some stuff may grow on me more, but if it gets better when I listen to it more, that's a good sign, right? I was initially kind of down on it as one of my not liked Ti. Now it's kind of the middle of the pack for me. I do kind of wish if it is a retirement album, I would like to have got the best one, right? But I can't be mad at a person who has 12, 13 album discography. This fits right neatly in the middle. Some people are kind of falling off on their old age, but he still has a very high lyrical content as far as Ti still spitting some of the best he's ever spit. I don't see any fall off as far as that. Felt a little bit too commercial at parts, as you've already hit on for me, which is why I gave it a 7 instead of like an 8 or something like that. Too much hit chasing. I would prefer 12 to 13 tracks of trap music. But I mean, out of all his recent releases, this one feels more nostalgic to a little bit more regional. I think you try to throw some regional stuff in there because that's all the craze these days. So 7 out of 10 for me, man. What you got, Obi?
All right. Yeah, I've been fluctuating. I'm all over the place still with the score. And even after I drop the review, I'm sure I'll still be slightly all over the place. It's one of those kind of albums, honestly. That's why I've had to listen to it so many times, like I said. At the moment, I'm feeling about a 6.5. I've been everywhere between 6 to 7. slightly below 6, maybe even 7.5 as my highest, at different moments. But yeah, at the moment, I'm feeling a 6.5. Like you said, it's like there's some good stuff. It's kind of right in the middle of the road. It's not cracking that top 5 Ti albums, in my opinion, but it might be like in that top 7, top 8, something around there. Um, as a last album, I can't help but feel a slight bit disappointed, slight bit let down. Like you said, I would have preferred more trap music. My favorite album from him is trap music, and that has commercial songs, that has hits, and all those feel natural, and all those, that doesn't feel like he's stretching a sound or reaching for styles that aren't that don't fit him. That said, like you said, his flows are good. His lyrics are good. Like he sounds good. It's just some of these beats and some of these tracks themselves are just missing the mark for me. So yeah, I'm landing at about a 6.5. Some good stuff, some really good stuff, some bad stuff, and some really bad stuff. It spreads a wide gamut, but I'll take it at the end of the day. I wish it was a little bit better, but uh, I, I, there's enough to pull off and put on a good playlist that I'll accept it. It's
That's not
acceptable for
bad.
sure.
It's not bad, man. I've been hearing like this album is funny is that I've heard a lot so far reaching. Some people, like I think Joe Budden or someone was like, "This is the best I've ever heard," and then there's other people that's like, "I don't know about this." So this album to me, I think it kind of shares your sentiment and where it runs the gamut for a lot of people.
Hmm.
Depending on how you feel about some of the more commercial sounds, maybe some more how you feel about the for the ladies tracks or whatever. So it's interesting in that fact, but I think we all can agree the more times you listen to it, the more some of the tracks grow on you. So
Yeah,
that's like I said, that's a good thing. I would have had like got
absolutely.
a better album at the end, but I don't believe in a lot of rappers' retirement. So you
Oh
may
yeah,
take
no, yeah. I could have swore my memory tells me that he did a little half retirement once before, but I might
Mhm.
be on an island with that. Maybe that's just I got terrible memory. So, but point is, I definitely don't believe that this is the last we'll hear of Ti. Whether that's from features or other things, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get another album.
Me either. With that being said, though, man, make sure you guys clock in. Make sure you leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the album. How you think about our ratings? Like I said, I'm going 7. Obie's going 6.5. We would probably fall in line with the same vein. But the more reaction comments we get on these type of video reviews, the more of them we'll do for you guys. So we appreciate everybody for rocking with us. Make sure y'all check out Ti Kill the King and formulate your own opinion. And let us know if you agree with us or disagree with us on some of your tracks. But man, I appreciate you, Obie. And
Yes,
you
sir.
have a good rest of your day. We appreciate y'all out there, man. Make sure y'all stay tuned. We got more on the way for you.
Yes, sir.